Hi everybody, it's so nice to be back with you. It seems like I take bigger spells in between videos, but there's a lot going on here, as I'm sure there's a lot going on over there. We don't need to talk about that today. What we're going to talk today about is a product by the name of Ceralun. Ceralun is kind of like the old crystal clay. It's made by Swarovski, and it is a resin clay, air dry, very easy to use, and it's perfect for embedding things. I mean, you can sculpt it and stuff like that, but I would say, you know, if you're going to do that, do epoxy sculpt, or maybe do polymer clay or something like that. This is expressly for setting stones and little bits and doing like a mosaic into it. And it's so fun, so relaxing. So I'm going to show you how it works on some of my newer bezels that have come in for Bezels by 1928. We have some super new bezels that have chunkiness and substance to them, and they look like a million when you build them out. So I'm going to use those today, and then I'm going to show you how Ceralun is mixed and what to expect, and if something goofs up, what you can do, that kind of stuff. So come on over here and let's get started. So we're back with Ceralun, and right now I have examples of things that I have made using the Ceralun and the new bezels. And I just think it's so much fun, so relaxing, and these really came out great, I think anyway. This is a bracelet that I made with some bibs and bobs that I had. This is a piece from the new bezels line, this one. And then some broken jewelry that I had, and I made this from a stamping. I put together two parts. If you were able to see my Facebook Live a few weeks ago, you'll see me creating some of these pieces that I'm showing you now. That's what we've been doing a lot too, by the way. We've been doing a lot of Facebook Live. So if you guys are on Facebook, get on the Bezels Boutiques Creative Group, because I always let you know a day in advance so that you can come over and see the video and hang out with us for an hour or so as we do it. And then, of course, too, if you miss it, you can always come back and see it. Anyway, enough of that. But there's another opportunity to see us and hang out with us. Javi's even done her own. She got a lot of hits on hers. Anyway, this is the Ceralun and the mounts, and I just love how it came out. I love this heart. You could put that on a necklace, a bracelet, whatever you want. It's just talking. This is a bracelet that I made for my line that I'm making for Build a Line class. I'm supposed to finish it this weekend. And so I took what was usually a centerpiece for a necklace in the line, and I took it and I bent it a little bit, and then I added these little things and also a little dangle, and I got a really cool bracelet. And this bracelet, I have to tell you, it is so comfortable to wear. You might not think it would be, but it really is very comfortable to wear. Someday I'm going to get this piece and we'll do a video and show you how I made that bracelet, because it is awesome. With Ceralun it's good too, because Ceralun, being epoxy resin clay, will give, whereas if you set that with a stone, when you went to bend it, it'd just pop right out. It would be very good for you. So you got that one. And then this one I just made this morning, and this is going to make an awesome necklace centerpiece. And we have this piece in the line, and in fact together we're going to work on it in a minute, show you how to inlay it. It's really so easy. If you like it in silver, we do have some. It's OS05679, and here's the one we're going to be working on, so you can see what it looks like there. We have it in gingerbread, and we also have it in rusted iron as well. So these are awesome bezels. I have to, when I go to the factory the next time at 1920, I have to look and see if I can figure out maybe what necklace that was put into back in the day. Maybe I can figure it out. Anyway, okay, so then I have another little pendant thing here. I don't know what that is. And then another little pendant on that. This is a little section piece, little centerpiece section. This is another pendant. So you can see how versatile it is and how you can do so many things with it. I can see Miss Millie's been down here. Anyway, so we have Ceralun in white, We have a lot of white right now. We have it in walnut and we have it in black. I'm going to bring in red real soon too. They make it in a whole bunch of different colors, but I didn't think that we would want to bring all of them in because just normally people go to neutrals and metallics. But with the Ceralun, the white is really good, and you can't mix color into it. But you can dust it with mica powders, and more about that later. Let's get to the basic thing of how you mix it and how you work with it, okay? Let me move my pretty jewelry out of the way, get a little basket and put them in here. I've got a little pile of chatons here ready for our project today. Okay, I've got those set aside. Okay, Ceralun comes in a box that's kind of plain. Looks like this. Now this is like a big master box. This is an expensive box. It's got a lot of it in there. The ones we have at the site, I think they cost $8.50. It's about the same cost that crystal clay was, and you get about the same amount in a box. Only it's from Swarovski. It's better. I never cared for crystal clay. It was too tacky for me. This stuff I love. The instructions are inside, I think, in like 9 or 10 languages. So if you speak 9 or 10 languages, you're all good. Or you can watch my video and I'll show you and you won't have to read it. But anyway, with the white, here's how it goes. It comes in these little rolls. I store mine in a zip in the bag. You can't leave this layout. If you put it in a Ziploc, you better put it in a refrigerator, because if you don't, you walk away for a few hours, it will be getting hard. But if you put it in a refrigerator, for some reason it won't. So that's one way, if you're working with, you could store it. Anyway, it comes in these two rolls. What you have to do, there's a resin and a hardener. Just like when you're working with ice resin and the other resins. It's two-part, and you have to mix it evenly. This one is not so fussy as when you are mixing resin. You know, with resin, if you're going to have too much of anything, you want it to be the hardener. And really, it's not good to have too much. It should be just a perfectly balanced ratio. With this, if you're off a hair, it's not going to hurt anything. But you're going to notice when you take it out, it smells very strong of resin. So if that's a smell that bothers you, maybe you want to put a little dust mask or respirator on. It doesn't bother me anymore. When I first started to work with it, it did bother me a little bit, but I kind of got used to it. And as far as strong smells goes, I'd say it's in the medium range. This doesn't really bother me. So you have to mix it. Well, here's the thing with mixing it. You don't want to use your bare hands. See how bad my hands look? This is because I didn't have enough lotion on. You can use heavy cream hand lotion on your hands. You can use this product, which I like, instead of glove. I don't carry it yet, but I'm going to soon. And what I do is I just get into it and I get, you know, a bunch out. Of course, it's going to get under my nails now, but it will. And you really want to get it down onto your fingers. This is what I found. I tend to get too much into my palms, which is good, but you're going to be working with your fingers, right? So you got to get this slathered up. And this is what keeps it from sticking to you. And it protects your skin too, because resin can be an irritant. So you don't want that. So you can do that, or if you would rather, if you have a box of latex gloves, surgical gloves, nitrile gloves, if you're allergic, then you could put them on too. I've done that. I like the instead of glove more because I have more freedom, and sometimes the Ceralun will start sticking to the gloves, and then that's not fun. So anyway, that's the way I do it. So now I'm going to cut 2 equal parts, or I'm going to attempt to. Let me keep my hands out of the way. It's a little stiff because it's in this thing with the paper on it. I'll roll it back. There we go. I'll just peel that off. Okay, that's for that. I'm going to take right away and stick it back in my Ziploc. Yeah, when you cut it, you're really going to smell it. But it's not terrible. I mean, I've smelled so much worse. But just to let you know, because I know some people are sensitive, this isn't a lightweight thing. It's not heavy duty, but it's not a lightweight. So I'm going to get my hands out of the way, and I'm going to try and cut about the same amount of the hardener. Now, I could peel it out of that too first for cutting it. That might be nice, you know, but I do everything. John says I do everything backwards, so I figured it out. Oh, well, we're country people here. We live in Ohio, about 20 minutes from the Ohio River, about 20 minutes from West Virginia, about 5 minutes from Pennsylvania. That's where we're at here. And we live in a little town of about 5,000 people, and it's a very country place, but it's delightful. Small town life is wonderful. Okay, you can see here how, let me set that aside. They're fairly equal. I think it'll do. I hope I didn't get that in my hair. Wiped it back. I need a barrette. Okay, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to start just working it. You've got to get this completely mixed. You don't want any of this gray, tan, taupe color showing when you're done. You want it to be all white and nice like this. In fact, that could even be better than it is. But get this mixed. And I'm sorry it takes a minute to get it. It's a little bit stiff. That's to be expected. And look at this. It's coming off on me again, so I think I need some more of this stiffness. Didn't get enough. It was working for me great earlier. I was using the walnut instead of the white, and it didn't seem to stick to me as much. So I don't want to get too much on me because I don't want to work too much of that stuff into my clay. I don't think that would be too good either. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, you're either going to use that or heavy hand lotion, or you're going to use nitro gloves. You just don't want to do this with your bare hands unless you have them protected with something. You just don't. It'll stick to you, and you can see how it gets all over into your pores if your hands are dry like mine, because it's still kind of... Well, I'm a working girl, you know? Sometimes people will say, oh, why don't you get your hands done? You know, get your nails done. I get my nails done sometimes. I just don't do it too often because I don't have time to sit there and get my nails done. And I'm a working girl, you know. So if they grow out and they're pretty for a while, okay, that's good. And if they're short and stuff got down into the pores, well, I don't want to look like a mechanic working in a garage, although there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm a lady. I like to look like a lady, but sometimes... When we do our videos here, our nails aren't perfect. What can I say? I think I'm going to use this new blob I worked up because it just has a better feel to it. So this is about ready to use, guys. I'm about ready, okay? So let's bring our nice bezel out here. Again, this is OS 05679 at BisouBoutiques.com. Let me say that clearly. BisouBoutiques.com, where we carry Bisou by 1928, and it's the only place at this time that you can buy it anywhere. And that's all right with me. Come see me. You're going to find out what's great. Because we only carry the good stuff. Did you know that? Ask my customers, they'll tell you. We only carry the good stuff. So you can see I broke a little piece off here. So now I'm going to kind of fit that down into here. Now what I could do, and I failed to bring it, but rats. You can get like one of these little cups here. And put a little bit of water in it, and you can smooth this stuff back with water by just, when you get it all in here, you know, maybe you're going to have a little seam or something, because I tend to put it in two parts because I don't want to put too much and then have to carve it off. Because having too much in here, you're going to find can be an issue too. Oh, you know what? I meant to put my plastic thing down. Oh man, what did I do with it? Oh, here it is. Yeah, working on paper is not a good idea. Let me just tell you that. It'll stick to the paper. You might have thought that. You might have said, why are you working on paper, Brenda? Didn't you just say that's going to stick? Yeah, so I just get an old baggie and use it for my work surface. Or whatever you have that's non-stick. If you have silicone mat, that works good. So you can see I've got it a little bit high on here. You want to kind of get it all level, and then you can see the bezel kind of has a rim around here, so you're going to want to keep it back away from that, and then I'll show you a little trick that I have for doing that. So now I'm smoothing this out, and yeah, you see fingerprints in it, and you see texture in it, and the only reason that that would really, really matter on this is if you were not going to put a lot of decoration on it. And really, what's the reason for using it if you're not going to put a lot of decoration on it? You're going to want to cover it. So, you know, it doesn't matter. You're not going to see it. But you do want to get it fairly level. And don't get it up into these little beads here. Try to keep it off there, because when you pull it back, it tends to want to stay in between the beads, and it's not a good look. I'll just say that. I'm going to show you an example. I've got one down here. I started out, it was coming out gorgeous, and then it just went south. And I thought, rats. But then I thought, you know what? Not rats. Because now I can show my pals on YouTube what not to do. This is a crystal katana, by the way. If you have one, I like them. We don't carry them. I wish I could. So here's a shout out to Crystal Katana. I'm not getting anything for it, but what can I say? It's a good product. Now, what we do have at the site that you can use instead of Crystal Katana for a whole lot less money too, I will say, is pick-me-up tool. We have pick-me-up tools, and they're very inexpensive. We can't keep them in stock, and they work nearly as well as the Crystal Katana. So, but I have my Crystal Katana, so I'm using it. And it has this nice little end on the end of it, so you can kind of sculpt it and keep the material back away from the edge. You can kind of control it a little bit with this thing. And I like to have it just right, because that edge being nice and clean is important to a good design. And if you get too much out to the edge, it's not going to be good for you, because when you go to press your little embedments down into it, it can stick out funny. It can squish out funny. And I'll show you examples of that in a minute too when we get done with this. So I'm going to kind of push that back away, because that could actually ruin a piece if you do that. Yeah, you'll get fingerprints and you'll get fingernails in it, and I don't know what to tell you about that. If you know a way to not do that, then do by all means and tell me. But you just have to cope with it, and thank goodness you're going to cover it. So it's not a big deal. Okay, now for this one, the idea I had was to kind of go with this piece that I've already done. So I have the little sprig, and this is from our website. It's in the silverware, silver plated section. It's a brass stamping. It is not pewter. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to kind of get a feel for it. I'm not going to be able to go clear across like this, because this is a little bit bigger in dimension, but I'm going to try to kind of center it. So this is a really nice material to put little brass stamping, small pieces down into for focal. So then I've got it in there. Now I want to just kind of tamp down gently and lightly, because if you tamp down on too much, then what happens is exactly what you don't want. It's going to start coming squishing up. Now see, one thing I could have done was I could have bent that a little bit first. That would have been good. Now I'm getting my fingerprints, but it'll be all right. So tamp that down in there. But don't too much. Now this would be a good place if I had a little water. If I did, I'd put it, but I will compensate for that by doing something else rather than taking time to go get water right now. This one may just not be quite perfect, because it's been kind of hectic here today, and I've been frankly drinking too much coffee. I'm just really making all kinds of excuses for myself, aren't I? Okay, so it smoothed out pretty good. That's pretty. I like that. I might have to keep whatever I make out of this. Okay, so I've got that. So now basically all I want to do is I want to pick up stones and just kind of set them around in there. So I think maybe one will look good here. So I pick it up with the end of my cone shape of my katana and just press, not too much. Don't embed it too much, because it won't look nice. Just enough to get it set. What color is this? It's so hard to keep the chatons flipped over correctly. This is a good one. I'll put that in there. A little teal one. Green one. Let's see what else. I've got a pink one here. What all colors do I have? This is mostly peridot. Well, I like pink, so I'm going to put a pink. So basically this just goes again to your eye that you have developed from doing assemblage, you know, for position and flow, you know, balance and so forth. See, I've got a little bit down into here. Don't like, let me get that off now and shove it back going out a little bit. If it's not completely perfect, it'll be all right. It'll still be nice enough. Very nice. Just tamp it down over a little bit. Okay, that's all good. Sometimes I get too perfectionist. Okay, do you do that? I think we all do. Here's another one. It's nice and big. Yeah, that needs something up there, so I'm going to push that down in there. You can just watch me do this for a little bit. You can say, what am I going to do when I get some of this? I bet you can't wait. I couldn't. When they came out with this stuff, I wasn't paying much attention. And I thought, it's just another type of crystal clay, and I wasn't crazy about crystal clay, and so what, you know. But my friend Christy Friesen, the Polymer Clay Queen and Princess, the last time she came to visit and teach over here, she said, hey Brenda, come over here, I want to show you something. You need to get this. And she introduced me to Ceralun. She has videos about Ceralun too. She uses it in her assemblage a lot. She uses it as a glue, because you can attach things very nicely with this. I don't want to get that dark one. Okay, here, flip it over. Look, there we go. You know when it's a little bit crinkled and textured, this stuff in the white, it kind of reminds me a little bit of leather, a leather look to it. Yeah. So that's cool too, right? Boy, I'll tell you what, if Mel Burney's watching this, he'll probably say, I can never make any money with you on the line, you're so slow. Have you ever seen the video of the lady setting stones over at 1928? It's amazing. It's on YouTube. They are so fast. They do this every day, all day long, right? I don't, obviously. But anyway, Christy introduced me to Swelligan, not Swelligan. She introduced me to Swelligan too, by all means. Yeah, she did. But she introduced me to Ceralun, and I was like, oh, you know, I wasn't quite sold. I liked it. I thought it was pretty awesome what she was doing, but I'm like, you know, I got enough of these mixed media products at the website. I don't think I need any more. So I didn't get it right away. And then once when we had this line, I thought, oh, make it a little closer there. I thought, you know what? Maybe now it's time for Ceralun. I think it's time for Ceralun. So I got it in, and nothing happened with it. Nobody was buying it for a while. And I realized, well, there's a big reason for that, Brenda. You're not showing them. So I've been showing it on the lives at Facebook, and we've run out of it twice since I've done that. So yeah, people need to be shown, just like Christy showed me. If she had not showed me, I would have probably never paid attention to it. So I hope you're having a look at this, because this stuff is really neat. And also, when it dries, none of these are coming out. These stones are not coming out. They're in to stay. Period. The end. They are not coming out of here. And that's really nice. You know, if I was setting these with glue, the katana or a pick-me-up tool makes it a lot easier. I will say that. But this stuff is quick. So, like, you know, the people like to bedazzle their phone cases and stuff. You know, you don't have to put this stuff on in a bezel. You can put it on a flat surface and kind of taper it out to the end. So I don't know, maybe check with somebody that would know about cell phones. You might be able to do your cell phone, you know, like how people like to decorate their cell phones. You might be able to do it with Ceralun. I'm kind of thinking that, yeah, maybe you could. So there's another possibility for you. I'm about done. I may add a few back in later. I think I got that one upside down too. No, I didn't. I don't want to take all day and all night, because watching me do this is kind of like watching paint dry, I'm sure. Some people said they find it interesting to watch me work. I know when I did shows a lot, people I always would be working at a show and I'd have somebody else doing the selling, taking the money and stuff and bagging things. And I was always working and people always love to stop and watch. So if you do shows, you probably found that to be true as well. Okay, I need a few more done in here, I think. So let me just do that, and then I'll set this aside and go on to the next thing that I wanted to tell you about this wonderful product. Now, you do clean up just with soap and water. It's, you know, if you have to get it off of you and you've got some on you, it's, you know, not like, no time to call the poison control board. No, you don't want to eat this stuff. It is not a non-toxic substance, I should say. It is not non-toxic. But it's safe enough to work with right here. It's probably safer to work with than E6000, and we do that all the time, right? Most of us. Some don't. But anyway, so I'm getting it going, and when Javi's up there rendering the video, maybe I'll finish this up. We were going to do an Instagram story too, so we'll see. Anyway, so here we are. Now, just have to let it dry. I would say cure time at least 12 hours. Maybe it would be good for you to let it go 24, a little bit longer before you wear it, because it might need to gas off a little bit. It might smell like resin, like how I tell you with E6000, let it gas off a little bit, you know, don't wear it for a while. This stuff the same way. It's not as strong as E6000. I see one got on there upside down. We don't want that drying in there. That would not be good. I will add you later, but, well, maybe I'll add you now. Nah, I'm not going to waste your time, guys. Okay, so that's pretty much what you do. You just do 2 equal parts, mix them up until they are the solid color that you purchase. Like if it's black, then it needs to be completely black. If it's walnut, it needs to be completely walnut. If it's white, it needs to be completely white when you're done mixing it. So that it looks like this. You might have some little streaks in it. That's not a problem. No big deal. You can manage that. That's fine. So I wanted to show you something that went astray so that you can see the pitfalls. This started out so pretty, but into this bezel I got too much Ceralun. And it was working out okay to about here, and then as I tamped the stuff down in, I tamped it in too hard and it squished up. And now I've got, let me get the katana point. I've got this little mess in here. I've got just the wreck of the Hesperus down in here, and some of the stuff is product has gotten onto here and onto the bezel. I don't know, once it's dry maybe I can sand that off, but I'm going to need to pick most of this out, and it's already made the impression into the Ceralun, and this is partway cured, so the rest of this can be saved, but I'm going to have to sand it a little bit, and I'm probably not going to want to add more Ceralun to it. I could try that on top and then just set it. I think for me, I would go with something that I could glue into there then. So now I've got a little job to do to fix this up. So shucks anyway, because it was up until I started to lay this part in, it was going great. And then when I put this rhinestone ball in there, it just wrecked it. And here's another example. If you can see here, I'll use the pointer. You see it squished out onto the edge of the bezel. This doesn't look neat. This is not the thing you go in a store. Somebody might attract, you know, if you sold it to a store, or if you were selling it at a show or on your Etsy or whatever. People would see all the blingy and they're like, ooh, let me look. But then they pick it up and they say something's wrong with it. And let me tell you what, to you would take a photograph with this. Oh man, the camera does not lie. I'll tell you what, I use the camera a lot of times just to check my work, to see if I don't have my jumps closed tight or whatever, because it will show it. This would look like heck in a camera. Wouldn't it, Tavi? Messed up like that, it'd pick up everything, all that around there. Yeah. So that's what happens. Be sure that you don't dome this up too much. Now, if you're going for a domed look, that's fine, because that's kind of a vintage look. There's a lot of stuff that Weiss made back in the 50s that was embedded into plastic and it had this look and it was cool. But if you do that, don't tamp the stuff down in too hard, because if you do, it's going to squish up and then it's going to wreck it. It's going to cause you a mess indeed. Okay, so there's the example of that. Okay, so I'm going to show you a few bezels. We're going to wrap it up here. Javi's got somewhere to go tonight after we eat pizza. I have to get her a pizza first. But I'm going to show you a few bezels that work really good for this. This one I got just for use with Ceralun. Isn't that beautiful? Karen Eaton over at the Creative Group has made the most amazing stuff with this bezel and with Ceralun. She's very good at it. This is OS 05673. Okay. Then there's this one. There is this one. This is like your tray type pendant. Perfect, 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 perfect for this. And it is OS 05675. And oh, by the way, we don't have this just in silver. We have it clear across the whole line, gingerbread and rusted iron as well. Then, this is an oldie, but a goodie. We've had this since we first had the line, but it's so perfect for use with Ceralun is the key pendant. Everybody loves this key pendant. And it is OS 09735. You could do something, well, this is a little bit smaller than that, but you could do something similar to that in there if you want to. Then this piece is really interesting. Mr. Bernie just not too long ago made this, and I didn't bring the vintage piece down that it's made from, but way back in their very, very early days, they didn't use castings, they used brass stampings at 1928 jewelry. And there was a brass stamping that was made rather like this. And there was a little pendant they put on it. Sometimes they'd solder a locket into it. Sometimes they glue a cameo into it. You know, just they made this piece. They used this piece so many different ways. And for probably about 10 years, they kept remaking it, remaking it. And so they haven't had it for a long time. And we were looking at it. Well, actually, somebody sold me one. So they found it and sold it to me. And I asked, now, what do you know about this? And then we had the whole long thing. But so he said, you know, I think that would be good to recast. So he did, and there it is, and we have it in the old silver, rusted iron, and gingerbread, and the SKU number is OS06008. Okay, that's in the silver. Now, if you want it in the other colors, you're going to have to look it up in those sections, but it's not hard. You can handle it. This one is gorgeous. This one is just talking to me. Isn't that beautiful? That's made from an old Victorian piece way back in the day. And perfect for inlay. Or just a semi-precious stone. Semi-precious stones look like the bomb in this stuff. It looks so expensive and beautiful. Wonderful to design with. This is OS 05685. Okay, this one. We had to search all over to find just the right thing to make this, but they make bracelets out of this piece a lot of times, but I wanted it with a flat back, so he remade it for me. There's their squiggly stuff that shows it's from 1928 factory. And so that one is very, very good for Ceralun. In fact, you could put it this way and put a tassel and then make a necklace, or this sideways and put a bracelet, however you like. And then there's one more I have really a lot of, and these are perfect for this too. And it's this one, which you can do the same thing. I really like it to put it this way with something in the center and a tassel. But with Ceralun, it's so fantastic to do mini assemblage. And you don't have that glue glopping mess. The big thing to remember and to take away from today, if you're going to work with Ceralun, is to use gloves or some hand lotion. And also to remember, don't fill the bezel too high. Unless you want to go for a dome look, then that's fine. But when you go to press your embedments into it, don't press them in too hard. Press them in just enough so that they'll dry into the clay and not pop out. But if you press too much, it's going to be, you're going to have to deal with it like I do on this one. That's the time I don't have. So there you go. Well, listen, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I really enjoyed making it for you. And I'm hoping that we can get back on track with a better schedule of coming here to show you the new things, because I've got a list as long as my arm of things to tell you about and to show you and to share with you, and I love doing it. And I love the fact that you come and watch me. So thank you so much for coming today to have a look at the video about Ceralun, and I'll be back with more. So you guys have a wonderful weekend, a wonderful week, and a wonderful creative month and year and everything. And I'll be back with you soon. Bye-bye.